I'm expecting a $400 or $500 paycheck and it's $60. I don't know that something shady's not going on.
Just that comment alone really just stirred my stomach.
The worst undercover bosses. In this video, we're showcasing some of the worst undercover bosses. Sometimes it takes going undercover to realize that you're actually the problem. Let's get to it. Number 4, Mr. Rooter. First up, we have the head of the Dwyer Group, who has a company called Mr. Rooter. When Dina goes undercover, it doesn't take long for her to realize that something is going on in the worst way.
While undercover, I'm posing as Faith Brown, an administrative assistant for her husband in Thousand Oaks, California. Faith has arrived.
One of her employees was relaying how he wasn't only being underpaid, he was basically being scammed out of about half his paycheck.
Paid on commission. You know, you expect you made $1,000 this week, you get your check and it's $500. The accountant would say, well, that's the way it's supposed to be, and nah.
And when she tried to defend that, he noted that it wasn't a simple tax that was being deducted, as that's a separate entity.
Because my husband he's got some employees and he has to take like some payroll tax and...
Well, this isn't payroll tax. Now, your income tax and all that is completely separate. This is off the top of the job.
He worked on commission, but wasn't being paid the amount he was promised. What's more, he told her about a person at the company who worked 60 hours in one work week, yet somehow owed the company money. How's that even possible?
They had a guy who worked 60 hours. When they gave him his paycheck, he owed them $21.20.
That's ridiculous.
How does that happen?
So at this point, if you've watched the show, you'd expect the boss to come out and say that all the money that he and the others had lost would be reimbursed to them, right? Well, kind of. She did give him money for a down payment on his home, which was great, but she also only reassured him that the payroll issues would be fixed.
And so we'll take care of all these compensation issues.
Well, thank you. Do I believe my paycheck will never be wrong again? We'll just have to wait and see.
Given all that happened before, he was rightfully skeptical about that. Number 3, bikinis. We're now going to a place that many of you might have heard of for unique reasons. We're talking about the bar and restaurant chain named Bikinis. CEO Doug Guller was going all out to ensure that the Bikinis was a success. He even bought out a town and named it Bikinis to help promote the brand.
Like all visionaries who came before him, the owner of Bikinis is not content to rest on those laurels, so he bought a town in Texas and renamed it Bikinis.
But when he went undercover, he got a cold dose of reality in terms of what was really going on inside his stores. There were managers that weren't doing their job, employees that literally walked out of their jobs while he was there undercover.
2 of the girls that we had here decided to just get dressed and walk out the back door.
Right now?
Yeah, they're gone. So they're no longer employed with us.
Wow, I was shocked.
And other staff noted that those in the upper management positions weren't helping anyone out. Yet what gets him on this list is that one of his employees, Jessica, was doing her job while wearing a shirt instead of the required bikini.
When I see that Jessica's not in a bikini top, I was pissed.
However, when asked, she said it was because they were on TV and she didn't want to be seen on camera in one, which is honest and respectable.
So does bartenders don't have to wear bikinis?
You are supposed to be wearing a bikini. I just chose not to since we're on TV.
As you might have guessed, Doug wasn't amused, and when she found out who he was at the end of the episode, he fired her.
Jessica, I gotta be honest with you. I had a pretty disappointing experience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The bikini top, of course. Right? You know, it was a big bummer from my point of view.
Saying she wasn't a good fit for bikinis.
I think you're a great person, but you're not right for bikinis. It was clear to me that day. So, I'm sorry, Jessica. It's not working out. Today's your last day.
I'm so mad right now.
So much for supporting your workers, right? Before we continue, be sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 2, Buffalo Wings and Rings. Let's pull a bit of a switch here and not focus on the head of the company, but one of the heads of the franchises that the undercover bosses are sent to investigate. The CEO of Buffalo Wings and Rings went to one of his franchises and soon met Wes. Wes was the kitchen manager, and he made it clear to the undercover boss that there wasn't anything within the kitchen he didn't know about. and that the new guy needed to do everything he said.
I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know back here.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Because when it comes to this, there ain't a damn thing that I do not know how to do in these four walls, okay?
Okay.
Okay, but you gotta do exactly as I say.
Clearly, this guy was confident, but that soon turned into arrogance and brutality when he started showing that he ran his kitchen with an iron fist.
I'm an ass, I'm a kid, I'm harsh, I'm over the top. Fear equals respect. You're gonna have to rule with an iron fist, man. Who stole my towel? If I see somebody take my towel, I'm gonna kick you straight in your little baby nuts.
He kept riding him throughout his work time, and it was clear that he wasn't going to let up no matter what. In the end, Wes got what was coming to him, because the boss brought in the franchise owner and an employee he had tormented with his bullying antics.
The girls' concern was how the kitchen disrespected them and how many complaints we had from our customers that could hear all of their F-bombs being dropped. It's embarrassing, and I don't care how many times anybody addressed it, it would never get fixed because he doesn't want to get it fixed.
The franchise owner said he should be relieved of his duties, and that's what happened.
I think I would have a better chance at success if we separate ways.
Okay, so I'm gone then.
It's the decision that Sean would like to make.
But that's not the end, because after getting the boot, Wes refused to admit that he did anything wrong, saying that, "I am who I am," and mocking the people he harassed.
I'm not gonna change me. I am who I am. Sorry, I'm such a scary monster.
He might have gotten the last laugh, but that was also his last day on the job. So who really won? Number 1, Hooters. Finally, we have the CEO of Hooters, Kobe Brooks, who desired nothing more than to go into his company and see if everything was meeting his standards, which is what you'd want to see from a boss. And we'll warn you that this isn't a case of the CEO Jimbo being a jerk.
Today I'm in South Arlington, Texas, and I'm going to be assistant general manager inside the store. The GM in the store he's the coach. He's got all of his players underneath him. He's got to make sure the entire team works good together.
As you all know, Hooters has a unique history and perception in the public space, and Kobe even heard about that perception when he was doing some community outreach with some of the Hooters ladies and hearing from many people that the perception is still that they're a group that exploits women. He was very disheartened about that. But let's get to the work stuff. Enter Jimbo, who was everything you wouldn't want in a manager. He was not only rude to the ladies of Hooters, he tried to get Kobe, while undercover, to berate them as well. That's not how a manager should act.
When I first came in this morning, Jimbo made it very clear that, we are about the Hooters girl.
Nail polish is nice.
He was very clear on what the brand's about, but I don't think he's clear on how the brand should be treated.
Then, at the end of the workday, he forced them to participate in a reindeer game if they wanted to go home early.
First girl that finishes her plate of beans will go home. You cannot use your hands, okay? So, go! Oh, get some of that. Brianna, how are they, baby? Oh, they look tasty. Who doesn't want to spend the rest of the afternoon with me?
Why? Because it was amusing to him. Kobe left the store and immediately called corporate to get this handled, because this wasn't right, and got Jimbo out of there as soon as he could.
What I saw in there just a minute ago has got me quite aggravated, so I'm going to be making a phone call to the owner of the franchise. It's Kobe. You've got a manager there in the Dallas market that the way he approached and interacted with the girls, it's really not acceptable behavior. I think it needs some immediate action.
Do you think that there's other bosses out there who deserve to be on this list? Usually the undercover boss isn't an issue, and they find out that there's some bad employees ruining the work environment. Click here to see some of the worst employees ever on Undercover Boss.